Love is touching souls. Soul Arts Astrology Communique and 5-day calendar, January 12th to January 16th, 2026. Thanks for stopping by. Your presence touches my soul. The headline's a lyric from A Case of You by Joni Mitchell. The lyric was inspired by a poem called Love Song by Rainier Maria Rilke. Rilke was from Austria. All right, let's carry on. Quote, I remember that time you told me you said love is touching souls. Surely you touched mine, 'cause part of you pours out of me in these lines from time to time. And that was directly from A Case of You by Joni Mitchell as well. Performed originally at the Mchitka Greenpeace benefit concert in October of 1970, then released on the album Blue in 1971. So that was a benefit concert to fight nuclear testing on this island in Alaska, Mchitka, that's thought to be uninhabitable. And so they do nuclear testing, or I don't know how active they are right now, but that was the deal back then. And yeah, so one of the people she performed with was James Taylor, who may be the subject of the song. It might also be Graham Nash, hard telling, not knowing. Then as I mentioned, she released it on the album Blue in 71, a big year for music. Okay, here's my communique. I often feel scattered when I sit to write. Then the act of messing around with words sets me straight. A hot drink within arm's reach helps. Though today it's taken me more time than it usually does to organize my thoughts. My mind splits with ache and stimulation, fatigue, and an appreciation of sunlight spilling through the windows. But now I've landed on love as content and container, subject and structure, love, a fabric of earth and skies, gestures of love, love in the time of eruptions, love conditional and love free, free as a bird. Feels best to italicize this part of my communique. If you can see it, this part is written in italics. For isn't the italicized slant a love look, a lean in towards the eyes across the room? It strikes me that I chose to lean towards Joni Mitchell's ballad, A Case of Me, a melodious float atop a Venetian canal. Love merges in the lyrics, love comes apart. Both aspect and our love. Synchronistically, Juno, Mars, Mercury, our Sun, and Venus gather together and find a closeness in Capricorn's ripening realm. As I try to rein in my restless mind, I notice that I'm distracted by a need to fix, a preponderance on solutions, and a resistance to the isness of matters. Still, I wonder, what shall we infuse into these days leading up to Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday? A birthday which was just this past year observed as a federal holiday, and now it is not. Not sure, but I shared with a client this morning that love is a verb and begs our attention. It's remarkable how many ways love is defined by its various opposites, the lack thereof, love's expressions, and its ephemeral body. Love doesn't have an opposite, however, though we do perceive love's absence at times. We may know love's expression as a sensation, but also an object, a subject. And love's ephemeral body finds shape in poetry. Poetry, ah, yes, poetry. Something I've forgotten to compose as we've navigated these 2026 heaving seas, swells so high our centers struggle to hold. I can grok love. As a matter of fact, I hear my still small voice utter as I write, love is one. Then Bob Marley's One Love vibe syncs with all the cells of my being in that pre-spinal consciousness manner, a ska march into a January sunset. Yet descriptive words meant to connect thoughts continue to elude me. So before diving into the calendar, I pause to listen to the music. So if you go to the written version of this, I actually embedded the YouTube video that Joni Mitchell herself actually chose as the version of the song that I pay homage to, A Case of Me. And I apologize, I said a case of me. I meant to say a case of you. Maybe there's a little shout out to self-love there. Okay, so as far as the calendar goes, the way I do this is I look at when the moon is void of course, and then by hand from an ephemeris, I write in all the aspects. I look at the aspects of the day. So, like Mercury's doing this with the moon, or Venus is doing this with Mars, or whatever. So, looking at these aspects, I then tune in and read the energy of the day, and I give a read for the day. I do the numerology and give you the number of the day, and I give you the color frequency of the day. So these are just all energetic tools, basically. So just to give you the skinny on this calendar, do this in brief today, and I'll do a more extended one tomorrow. So the calendar has us aiming towards this new moon in Capricorn. We've got this big stellium in Capricorn that I just mentioned in the Communiquè. So basically, it's a gathering. Juno, Mars, Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and when the new moon comes, it's going to be the moon as well, all in the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn, strong launch sign for the season. And some of the other aspects were a little bit intense in these coming days. So some of my reads have to do with making a meal, kind of chilling out. And that's not to say don't get involved, especially if you're in a country and you feel safe protesting. I think that's very much okay right now. Let's give voice to how we feel and let's be our authentic selves. And with any luck, choose love. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you, yours, and carrying the light.